Very good morning to all and hello everyone. Today we are going to continue the topic that we had started already, technology with human face. The present topic is prescribed for B.Sc. first year, English for communication, and it has been written by E.F. Schumacher, who is an economist, and he has written various articles and essays regarding the creation of significance and importance of nature in human life. So here also he talks about how technology is needed, but along with that, physical and mental peace for human beings is also needed. When the man loses his physical health, technology sometimes becomes responsible for losing the physical health of human beings. So here he gives the message that one should not lose his health, but he should use technology properly and conveniently according to the needs and situation. So in the first paragraph he talks how the world has been shaped. It has been shaped by the metaphysics, and also it shapes the world. In the second paragraph, the writer talks about how technology is different than nature, because nature is self-balanced and nature has its own rules and principles, whereas technology is not self-balanced. Technology is completely dependent on human beings. So, by using his techniques of essays, by interpretative techniques, he talks, says that, again he says that, suddenly, if not altogether surprisingly, the modern world, shaped by modern technology, finds itself involved in three crises simultaneously. So, he says nowadays we are facing three different crises, and which are those? First, human nature revolt against inhuman technology, organizational and political patterns which it experiences as suffocating and deliberating. Second, the living or environment which supports human life aches and groans and gives signs of partial breakdown. And the third is, it is clear to anyone fully knowledgeable in the subject matter that inroads being made into the world non-renewable resources, particularly those fossil fuels, are such that serious bottlenecks and virtual exhaustions loom ahead in the quite foreseeable future. So here Schumacher gives a prediction of the future through this work. He talks about the three crises that human life will face in future. Human nature revolts against uh, inhuman technological organizations and political patterns. Again, he talks about how it aches and groans with the partial breakdown. He talks about how the non-renewable resources have been lessened, and it is the foundation on which the human life is dependent. So we nowadays having the scarcity of fossil fuels, and breakdown of non-renewable energy is also one of the crises that human beings are facing, just because of the ignorance or man's carelessness towards the nature. Again he says, if any one of three illness becomes more than the limit, that will uh, that will lead towards the collapse of human life or humanity in the world. Limitless expansionism in the infinite environment cannot last long, and that its life expectation is shorter than more successfully it pursues its expansionist objectives. So again he says that we should not expand more than the limit on the finite environment. The environment is very much finite, and the space given to us is also finite one. Here we need to be in limit according to the nature, according to the principles given by nature, we should behave. What he says, again we will learn more. If we ask where the tempest development of world industry during the last quarter century have taken us, the answer is somewhat discouraging. Everywhere the problems seem to be growing faster than solutions. We first invented the technology to create the solutions of problems. But nowadays, if we go towards the finding solutions, we find that rather than finding them, we have got more problems. This seems to apply the rich countries just as much as poor. There is nothing in experience of last 25 years to suggest the modern technology as we know it can really help us to alleviate world poverty, not to mention the problem of unemployment, which already reaches levels like 30% in many so-called developed countries. So here he discusses the most rigorous problem, that is the problem of poverty, and writer says that poverty and unemployment is underlying in each country, whether that is developed or underdeveloped. Even the developed countries are facing this crisis more loudly than those which are not much developed. So here he gives example of a country which is below the which is not developed, but here people are happy. They are not more aware about the technology, but even then they are quite happy. They are not rich, but they are having the peace and comfort. So again the question is, really the technology is useful for us? And with the same question, here he ends and he says that we have only one solution for this question, that is technology with human face. So in very next lecture we will study what exactly the concept of technology with human face.